Hello and welcome to this Pilates mat flow using the mini ball. If you don't have a mini ball, you can use a cushion or a towel rolled up. We'll be starting standing with the ball in between those ankles, just doing a few knee bends and then letting the arms go above your head as you inhale and exhale. Just getting the arms moving, those legs bending, squeezing that ball. You can rotate through that spine, just nice and relaxed here, keeping the feet on the mat as we twist the arms and the shoulders and the waist. Once you have done that, we'll be rolling all the way to your mat, just warming up here through our spine. Take a big deep breath. You can add a knee bend here a few times just to stretch through the lower back and the back of the legs and roll all the way up. Take a big deep breath here and we'll be rolling down all the way again, scooping those abs, hollowing out, relaxing through the shoulders and the head of the neck as you bend and straighten your legs. And then you can squeeze those glutes, restack that spine as you roll all the way up to a nice standing position. You can twist again here, just nice and loose, shake everything out before we come down to our mat. That ball will be coming in between those ankles once again, but will be on our mat in that quadruped position. So take the hands on your mat underneath the shoulders, knees underneath those hips, and we'll do a few cat-cows here. Rounding through your lower back and finding your back extension through your upper back muscles as you come into that nice flat back. Exhale to scoop those abs and inhale as you lift that chest but without losing the abdominal engagement to support your lower back. If you want to, you can round and come into that cat stretch and pick your knees off your mat, and then you lower the knees as you come into that nice flat back. Exhale, scoop the abs, pick the knees off your mat, just about an inch. They hover off your mat, and then they come back down to your mat as you lengthen that spine. A nice big inhale as you flatten it out to the back. You'll take your ball now, or that cushion or towel, and it will go in between those inner thighs. We're coming to a seated position, a little bit more spinal articulation moving from your pelvis again. You're going to scoop your abs, roll back, inhale, exhale, roll forwards, lift your chest and a big arm circle here. Rounding through your back here, that lower back, pelvis releases. Then you stack your spine, shoulders over the hips as you do a big arm circle. Do a few more here. You can take it down to that middle back or stay just into your lower back here. Squeezing that ball in between your legs as you roll back and roll forwards, lifting into a straight spine and a big arm circle. Last one here as you roll all the way down as far as you can, roll all the way back up to a seated position, big arm circle, then we'll take it into a little bit of rotation. Arms go across your body, you're going to roll down on one side, arms come across, roll all the way up. You're just rotating through that thoracic spine, the feet, the knees, the hips stay nice and parallel, anchored down to the mat as you twist through that spine. Scoop those abs, go down as far as you can. You can go down to those shoulders. You've got to roll all the way up on that other side. And then you take it over, roll all the way down on one side, really work into that oblique. And then roll all the way up into that other oblique. Square off as you sit up nice and tall. Big deep breaths, your arms can circle over your head, but you really got to keep those shoulders plugged down your back as you sit up nice and tall. Last time here, taking it all the way down, reaching those arms forward as you roll up, restacking your spine, and take a rest here. We're going to scoot forward on our mat. We'll be coming down to our back. That ball will come underneath your right foot. As you take it down to supine position here, we're going to do our pelvic curl, rolling into our shoulder bridge with one foot on your ball, one foot on the floor. making sure that foot is really spreading over your ball, and then the supporting left foot is pressing into the mat as you roll through your pelvis, roll through that spine all the way up to your bridge and take it down all the way back to your mat. A little bit more spinal articulation here, but instability with that ball, keeping your hips level. Hamstrings have to work as you roll up and roll down. You can't dump down over with that foot on top of your ball. Switch it over, try it on the left side now. Left foot will be over your ball, right foot pressing into your mat. Level off those hips as we roll all the way up and all the way down. Use that breath as you exhale. Tailbone curls off your mat, reaching towards your knees, rolling it bone by bone back down to your mat. Inner thighs are engaged here, so those knees stay aligned with your ankles and hips, even though with one foot elevated, nice and level through that pelvis, nice and active through those inner thighs. We'll switch it back over to your right foot, that ball. We're going to add on, you're going to do a hip lift. You're going to extend that right leg straight, pull that ball back towards you as you lower the hips down. Just halfway, lift the hips, reach your leg away from you, bend your leg back, lower the hips down. You can always repeat what we just did if you don't want to add the leg extension here. Couple more with that reach of your legs, making sure the right hip doesn't drop, and then take it over, try it on your left side. Lift those hips, hinging now from your hips, extend that left leg, pull that ball back underneath the foot and lower your hips halfway. Few more on this side, reach your leg long, drag that ball back with that hamstring contraction. It's like a hamstring curl, pulling that ball back towards you and lower down. Last time, reach it out, pull it back, lower down and rest. Take that ball now, it's going to come behind your thoracic spine. So you want to lay on that ball in between the shoulder blades there. Take a big stretch open through that chest. You can bring your arms to goalpost position there. Relax over that ball. If it's too much with the ball behind your shoulder blades, you can always lay down on your mat without the ball. We're coming into chest lifts. You're going to lift and lower the head and the chest over that ball on the inhale. Exhale, flex forwards just through that upper part of the body. Keeping the pelvis neutral, keeping those legs nice and engaged. We can't arch through the lower back or tuck your pelvis as we lift and lower the head and the shoulders. Take a stretch here, make sure that ball is positioned in between your shoulder blades again. We're coming up again and we come into chest lift with rotation. You're lifting off your ball as you rotate through that thoracic spine. The hips and the pelvis stay nice and steady here, just a little twist through the shoulder. Elbows will follow whatever the ribs and the shoulder do as you take it to the left and the right. Use that breath, and once you're even on both sides here, take a breath, lay back over your ball and breathe. Arms can come to goalpost just to stretch out through those shoulders. We're coming up again now. Feet will come into tabletop. You can reach those arms beside you as we do the single leg toe tap. You can always support your head with your hands behind the head. Otherwise, those arms are reaching, shoulders plugged down as we tap, moving from those hips. Keeping nice and neutral through that spine. You're just lifted up off that ball. Think about lifting up, nice and active through those abdominals. Lower the feet. Take a stretch over your ball. Big deep breath here. We're coming up, bring those hands behind your head. We're going to do the single leg toe tap, adding the rotation, really adding challenge with the balance with that ball behind your back. Those legs tap straight out in front of you as you get the twist through the shoulders and the rib cage. Elbows stay wide, framing your face as we twist to the left and to the right. Inhale and exhale. And then you can lower your feet. Take a big deep breath over that ball. Very nice work using that ball behind that thoracic spine. You're going to come up and take that ball from your back. It will come behind your legs. A little bit more abdominal work. We're going into the single leg stretch. We're going to pass that ball from one hand to the other as you do the single leg stretch, reaching your legs out away from you, reaching those arms. The ball is behind that thigh. It passes in front of your thigh, lifting the shoulders, lifting the head as we breathe in and out, reaching those legs, keeping that pelvis neutral as your legs go away from you, lifting through the upper abdominals as you're reaching that ball in front and behind your legs. Very nice work there. Just a little variation on single leg stretch. Next up is double leg stretch. You can use your ball in between your ankles as you lift up here. Reach those legs, reach your arms and pull everything in. Inhale, extend, exhale, pull in. Squeeze that ball, make sure it doesn't move around. Legs reach out as those arms reach overhead without dropping the shoulders or your head. Reach and pull in, making sure that pelvis doesn't arch here or imprint into your mat. Stay nice and neutral through that pelvis for your last couple. And when you are done here, lower the head, rest for a moment, take that ball and relax your legs. A little bit of a pelvis twist if you want to just drop your knees to the left and to the right side of your mat. Releasing through the hips, releasing through that pelvis, relaxing those abs. We're coming up and over now, transitioning into some back extension work, laying in prone. So we can transition from our plank position, lowering down with control on the toes or on your knees. You're going to end up in that prone position with that ball in front of your chest, just pressing over that sternum bone. Forearms are on your mat beside your body and you're flexing forwards over your ball. As you inhale, you're going to lift up off your ball and then exhale, lower down over your ball. You don't have to lift all the way up. Don't take it into the lower back. You're just getting that back extension from the head, shoulders, upper back muscles are working as we lift up. Use your forearms to support you and then you can fold forward, stretch out through your cervical spine as you exhale down to your mat. Then take a breath here, reposition your ball, make sure it's staying in that sternum. We are going to add on a little bit now. You can inhale, lift up and then pick the elbows off your mat. You're straightening those arms. It's almost like swan dive. Lift up off your ball, arms will straighten, lower down over your ball, bending those elbows, forearms back down to your mat. You can take those arms slightly further forward if you want to get a bit more back lift there. Press your hands into the mat as you lift. Pull the abs in and up so you don't take any weight and tension into your lower back. If it's too much with those elbows to come off your mat, just stick with the first version, lifting up to your forearms without picking your elbows off your mat. Take a breath there. You can sit it back into a child's rest pose just to stretch out through that lower back. Rock your hips side to side, relaxing those shoulders. We're going to come back up and over. That ball will be back on that sternum bone. Forward fold over your ball. We're adding a little bit of breaststroke arms. So we're going to inhale, lift up through your upper back, lift those arms, reach them forwards and then swim them around behind you, bending your elbows, lowering to your mat on the exhale. Inhale, it's a lift and extension. Swim those arms, lift up off your ball, lower down with control, forward fold over your ball. If the ball is too much, you can do this laying down all the way on that mat. Work through the back of the shoulders, back of the arms, upper back extensor muscles, lift you up, reach those arms, lift higher as you swim your arms behind you, then lower all the way down. Take a breath, one more here, reach it forward, swimming out, and then lowering, resting. Another child's rest pose just to relax through that lower back, rounding that spine a little. We'll be coming up, and now we're going to do some side lying work. We're going to start seated into our mermaid. You can stack your legs here or shin box them or even sit cross-legged. Your ball will be beside your hip. We're going to flex up and over, do a side bend, lift out of the waist to come all the way upright. That forearm will slide on the ball, and then you've got to drag your ball back to the hips and the hand presses into your ball. Slide your ball away from you as you do a big side bend. Breathe into that top rib and use the obliques to come all the way upright. Flexing here through the waist. Add a little bit of rotation now through your top shoulder. As we then side bend, come all the way up. And we'll do that again. Reach that ball away from you. Top arm rotates down to the floor. Top arm opens out to the ceiling or to your sky if you're outside, and lift yourself all the way up. Flip those legs around. Let's try it on the other side. Sitting in a comfortable side-seated position here. Ball beside your body, and then slide your ball away from you to your forearm as you reach your arm up and over. Lift out of the waist. Use those obliques to come all the way upright. Just this lateral flexion to start with. And then we can take it into the rotation. So this time you'll roll that ball away from you. Rotate that top shoulder down towards the mat. Open the top shoulder and that sternum towards the ceiling or the sky. Lift out of it to come all the way up. Don't collapse underneath your side body there. Think about the shoulders reaching away from those ears. And then sit up nice and tall. Big deep breath here. We're going to come all the way back to the other side, but we'll be laying down, and that ball is going to come underneath the ribs. So you'll be on that forearm. We're coming into the side lying side kick. So your top leg will kick forwards and backwards. Stabilize yourself. Lift from your underneath side off that ball. Forearm is there to support your upper body as you lift your leg hip height. Kick it forward, kick it backwards, trying to minimize the movement through the rest of the body as we do this side kick. Underneath leg is long here. It can be slightly bent for more support and stability on that mat. Take a moment, lower your leg. We are lifting and lowering your top leg now. It goes up and down just as much as you lift without collapsing underneath into your ball. Lifting and lowering that top leg. You can point and flex your foot here if you want a little bit of ankle mobility. Breathing into your outer thigh to get that leg lift. Lifting from that underneath side. Bottom shoulder and forearm are nice and stable. Sit yourself up, turn yourself around to the other side. We're repeating the side lying side kick and then that abduction and adduction. Set yourself up here, ball underneath the rib cage, lift from that underneath side as you kick your leg forward and backwards. Flexing the foot, we pulse, pulse, point through the foot, pulse, pulse. Pelvis is steady, hips stay stacked, shoulders stay stacked as your leg comes forwards and extends backwards. Squeezing that glute, pull the belly in and up, length through both sides of your waist. You can always do this side lying work, laying all the way down on your mat. and lower your leg for a moment. Take a breath. We are lifting your leg up and lowering it down, adding a little bit of plantar flexion, dorsiflexion through that ankle if you want to. Keep your leg though nice and aligned in line with your hip and shoulder, making sure it doesn't come forward or backwards as you lift and lower. Work through that outer thigh, nice and strong through your outer thigh, nice and stable through the pelvis. Couple more here. And then take a breath. Nice work with that side lying work. Sit yourself up. We are now coming into a little bit of glute work and a bit of hip mobility. That ball, if you are using it, or your cushion or towel, will be placed behind the back of the leg. Squeeze it as we circle the leg. You can come down to your forearms, or you can be in quadruped now. You are just moving that leg, circling the leg through its hip joint. It lifts up and out and down. Squeeze that ball behind your calf and hamstring to activate through the back of the leg here. Nice and flat with your back here, nice and steady with the hips and the shoulders. We are circling this leg through its hip socket for 45 seconds in one direction. Breathing as you lift and open out through that hip. And then take a breath. We are reversing your direction. So now we go down, out and up with the knee and the foot. Squeezing that ball. Level hips, level shoulders here. Making sure we're not drifting to the right as you're circling your left leg. You can point the foot, flex the foot, whatever you need to keep the ball squeezed behind you. Opening that knee out, lifting that knee up without arching the back. So really think navel to spine connection here as you circle. Working that outer thigh, that glute muscle, that hamstring. Relaxing through the head and the shoulders as we are almost done on this side. Take a rest there. You can lay down or sit up and take a figure 4 stretch with your working leg if you want to before we transition over to our other side. Open out your knee and take that figure 4 stretch to stretch out through that side of the glute, through the side of the leg there. Breathe into that stretch and then set yourself up on the other side with that ball behind your leg. You can be on your hands or lowered down to your forearms, whatever feels comfortable for the wrists and the shoulders here. We want a nice flat back. And off we go, 45 seconds circling through this right hip. The leg goes up and out and down without arching through the back here, without letting the shoulder blades collapse or letting the head drop down to the mat. Think about the back of the head lifting, sternum bone lifting up to that spine, belly button pulling up to your spine as you circle through your hip socket on the right side. Breathing as you circle here, almost done in this direction. Get yourself ready. We are going in the other direction now. We go out and up and down with the knee. Think about drawing that circle with your knee without letting the left hip drift over to the left side. Keep that left hip stacked right over your left knee, circling through that right side, trying to get a little bit of hip mobility while keeping your pelvis nice and stable. Think about that donkey kick up and then scoop those abs to pull that knee back underneath you. Keep circling. We're almost done. 45 seconds is almost up with this leg work here. Really nice work. Very much isolating that right side. Take that ball out from behind your right leg. Sit up or lay down. Take a figure 4 stretch of that right side, opening out through the side glute, opening and stretching through that outer thigh, releasing through that right hip. Nice work. Hope that ball didn't slip away from you. We're going to now come down on your back there, lay yourself down, bring that ball underneath the right foot. You're going to stretch out that right leg nice and long, and then we're going to do our nerve glides with your left leg. You're just going to bend and straighten your left leg. That foot is flexed, reaching up to the ceiling, and then add a little bit of point and flexion through that left ankle. That right calf is pressing into that right ball as you go into your hip circles now. Leg circles, about 5 through the left side. Out and down and around, nice and steady through the right side of your body. After 5, you can reverse. Your leg goes down and out and around without moving through the right pelvis and the right hip. That right leg is really active into your ball. Relaxing those shoulders as we circle through that left hip. Once you've done 5, hug that knee into your chest there. Take a breath. Roll that ball back to your left foot and we're switching it over. Left leg extends with that ball pressing into your mat. About 5 of your nerve glides here through the right side. And then 5 ankle point flex, just a little bit of mobility through your ankle joint. Then you'll set yourself up for your 5 leg circles through the right hip. Out and down and around here. Use your arms and shoulders for stability into the mat. Left hip is anchored down. Left leg is anchored and active into your ball as you circle, reversing your direction now through the right side. Breathe as you circle here. Once you've done 5, you can then bend your leg, hug that knee into your chest, pull that ball back towards you, bending your left leg, and take a breath here. Rock those hips side to side, cross your ankles, and you're going to sit all the way up. All right, guys, very nice work. That is the end of part 1